How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and you know what time it is. It is time for the joke of the day. Here it comes. What do you call a horny square? And a rectangle. Come on. If you're new to this channel, the reason why we do these joke of the days, you probably had a long day, it was probably stressful, and you're just coming over here to check out one of my corny jokes. But anyways, let's get talking about GME and AMC. That's right, we're combining this all in one video. Both of these stocks performed in a certain way where I feel like, you know what, we could talk about both of them and then cover some news that is going on, especially for GME and why it's going in the direction where it's going. In regards to what's been happening and so forth, I just want you guys to be aware of this, and the reason why we do these technical analysis, I don't want you getting caught holding the bag. Let's be honest here, a lot of people learned their lessons the first time around. So we had a good amount of selling that was going on today. But you need to be able to see what are the particular areas that you can actually trade in if you're interested in, of course, in order to not get left holding the bag. So now what we're going to be doing, we're going to go through the technical analysis for GME, AMC. We're going to go over some news for GME as well, so you guys are aware and you're up to date in regards to how the day's going. All right, so we're going to be doing a technical analysis on GameStop GME, which ended up doing fairly well today, and it's something that, you know what, we need to go over, and I'm also going to be going over some news as well. But hey, let's get into this right now. So as we can see from yesterday, we ended up having a gap down. So yesterday, it was literally around the 168, 169 area. And then they ended up gapping down to around 139, the 140s and so forth. All right. So but let's take a look at what was happening in the pre-market, right? So as we can see in the pre-market, it was doing a fairly good job being around that VWAP line. It did test some support areas, which we're going to take a look at. So we see here it bounced off 119. As we could see, what was this we saw this happen again in regular trading hours, right? We see another support area that it moved up here, right? This was around 520. Again, the charts don't lie. You're seeing this continuous areas of support. So we move up and then look at this here. What is this? We've been in this area during regular trading hours as well. So we had a strong move to the upside. It was around a 164, right? So taking a look at this area, this ended up being a resistance area for quite some time. I told you guys whenever we end up breaking former resistance areas, we get strong moves to the upside. So as you can see for the rest of the pre-market, it pretty much stayed in this area. So we look at 7 a.m. all the way up to 9, right? So almost 2 hours, we had this resistance area of around 164. And as you can see, as we get closer to open to 9:30, we get to 169. Again, there's a lot of excitement. A lot of people who were investing and trading in this stock were looking for a strong move right at market open. And you notice this because of this trend that we see right here. You see how this moved right up here from like literally 850 to 148 to almost 170? That tells you right there, like usually right at open, we're expecting a huge burst to the upside, but that didn't happen. We ended up getting a big time sell-off. As you can see here, we got down to a price of $106. As you can see here on the RSI, that would have been a great area if you were thinking to add, especially if you are trading the stock. Again, if you are investing in this stock for the long term, like I said, the best thing to do is to stay on the sidelines and do not get involved with this, all right? But anyways, so as you can see, we had a strong move that was moving up here. We ended up getting to this resistance area. You can see it lasted here from 1035 all the way over here to 1055 at 143. Do you notice something about this area? This resistance area was a support area during the pre-market. Again, the numbers don't lie. So then we end up going down. But the good part about it, you notice how we're staying above VWAP, right? So that's going to continue a bullish trend. You're bound to see that. So it's definitely being tested around this particular area in the 130s, and it's doing a great job. As you can see, it fell below, but again, more volume and more momentum. Even when you look at these volume indicators down here below, that's a telling story as well, because there was a lot of buying in the sense of, hey, people were taking advantage of the dips, all right? So as you can see here, here's a resistance level. We have here at 177, 178 area. One of the reasons why I'm actually bringing this up, and it's something that we need to take a look at, is because we never ended up passing this area. That was it. So literally when we tested it here at 12:55, they had a big sell-off, ended up testing it again, as you can see here around 1 o'clock, right? So as we see this movement here, we definitely tried getting to that area again, and this was literally around the 130 to 135 area. But as you can see here, as it made those numerous attempts, ended up going right back down with a huge sell-off. As you can see, this is from 176 all the way down to 131. Anyone who bought puts at that area or even was brave enough to even decide of shorting this in this particular area, pretty much it was a good move, right? And it was also to be expected, especially when it tried testing this 178 area and 175. So we're going to say the mid 170s to high 170s. If it would have broke that area, I definitely would have wanted to see a move, and it definitely would have been possible to break all the way to 190. And as you can see here, yesterday was at 194, so definitely could have gotten to 200 if it ended up breaking through that area. But anyways, as we move forward, as you can see here, we ended up hitting this low here at 130. And again, look what happens. Let's take a look at the RSI. It's around the 35 range, right? Not even. Yeah, around 35. So we see here, this ends up being a support area at 130. So as we see this, and we see a strong move moving up here to 149, getting close to 150. Then we have that strong sell-off going into close, which happened with a lot of stocks today. With all of the volatility that is going on and so forth, hey, that was bound to happen. But if we look at the overall picture here, GME ended up being up 18.56% on the day. So that's nothing to complain about at all. And as long as GME can actually keep these areas, especially considering where it was early in the week, around 40 to 50, and we can extend that out and take a look at that again. Yeah, like, look at this. So this week, it was literally in that $50 range. So in regards to the short squeeze and stuff like that, if it literally stays above 100 and then it's going into that price area going into next week, that's good. That is very, very good. Because like I said, it's it's still made quite the move so far for the week, and we still got tomorrow. But I love seeing GME being at least at 100, all right? As we can see here in after hours, it got down to 94, but didn't really spend that much time there. But it looks like it's kind of formed a support area here at 97, right? So we also see here there's a resistance area at 112. So if we're going to be gapping up tomorrow, I definitely want to see a gap up that's really above this area. And then that'll give us a good idea. And this is also taking into consideration how the market is going overall in general, right? So it'd be good to see a gap up into this area. And if we end up gapping down, then it will definitely be a retest of the 90 area. And if the 90 breaks, we'll definitely see 80. All right, so right now we are on Market Watch, and we're going to be looking at the most shorted stocks. All right, it was updated. As we can see here, that we have the date of February the 12th. As we go down the list, we're going to be looking for GameStop. All right, so as we can see, GME GameStop currently is at 30%, 30.22%. Something that we need to pay attention to, because we already knew at one point it was over 100% in that regard. All right, so just seeing that it's around here still means that, you know what, there's still some more room left for squeeze. All right, so that's what I wanted to show you guys very quickly here on Market Watch, because it was actually updated. I know when I was looking at it, it was showing like the January date, like the end of January, around January 29th. So it's good to see that. Also, one thing, if you notice, I was going through the list. We do not see AMC whatsoever, right? I'm doing this so you guys can even, maybe you might catch it or something like that, right? But nope, we do not see AMC. We only see AMCX, all right? And the last time when I was doing it, when I had the January the 29th, AMC was actually on there. Jump into the technical analysis on AMC. Overall on the day, it ended up closing at around $8.29. And as overall, it ended up being down 8.80% on the day as well. So let's take a look at end of after hours and how it was looking like yesterday, all right? So as we can see here, it ended up closing around 9:55. We see this area of $11.05. So now what we're going to do, we're going to switch over to the 1 day, 1 minute very quickly and take a look at some of the action that went down in pre-market, all right? So as we can see here, it looks like it ended up opening up in pre-market in this particular area of $11, right? So not too much of a difference, a little bit of a gap down, but nothing too major. But it did some really good consolidation, as you could see here, which is actually good to see. We could see that it had a very strong support area here from 5 o'clock all the way up into around 6:20 in this particular area of $10.63. So it ended up getting past this area. And again, whenever we see it break support areas like these, we see a strong move to the upside where it got to $11. Ended up having a sell-off, as you can see here. Right at 7:30, we end up hitting that pre-market low. But again, this is around $9.94. And we end up having a strong move here, getting up to around $10.47. What does this look like from looking at the chart? This was a new resistance area. So as you can see, around 7:52, leading up all the way to 8:53, so almost an hour, we ended up breaking that area, making a move to 1065. And then right as we got to around 9:27 in the pre-market, we ended up getting to 11:14. As you notice, very, very similar to how GME was, right? Very, very similar, how there was a lot of momentum going in. Now, ended up selling off just a little bit, but as we get here, this is where it gets interesting. Let me just move this in. Yeah, so we ended up getting here, and then we meet a new resistance level here at $10.97. That was literally the resistance area. We were never able to break that for the rest of the day. As you can see, ended up hitting lows down here around $9.70, but didn't stay there that long. So as you can see, we end up seeing $9.98 where it kind of stayed for a little bit. And we also get to see that it actually retested this area, and there's also a lot of support and consolidation in this area. We also noticed that, hey, as we move it up a little bit, the resistance area was 1047, right? So this is also something that we need to really pay attention to. So as it stayed consistent in this particular area, kind of went down here a little bit, testing 970, and it's still going. And after we end up going up, so as you can see, it was literally trading in that strict range of around 992 to around 1051 being that high in that particular area for the most part of the day. So we end up having a sell-off going. And part of the reason why this is happening is because, as you can see, it just literally consolidated and stayed in this particular area. We also got to take a look at the market conditions. If the market conditions are favorable and there was a lot of buying going on, as you can see, the volume wasn't really there. Not what we actually expected in regards to actually giving you guys the exact amount of volume we had, which is interesting. We did get around 439 million in volume, but for the day, you could honestly see that, hey, market conditions had an impact, and also GME. GME is literally the front runner here, and AMC at the end of the day is a sympathy play. So when you see this happen, we do have to know that there could be either a strong move to the upside or a strong move to the downside whenever we see this type of consolidation and movement in this area, right? So we end up having a strong sell-off. And as you can see here, next support level ends up being around $7.88. All right. As you can see now, what's going on in the after hours, this was an area for quite some time, right? At $7.84. And now it seems that we're here around $7.60. So what we need to be seeing tomorrow to remain bullish on AMC, I want to see a gap up. I definitely want to see a gap up. It'd be nice to see it get into that $8.50 range in regards to a gap up, and then having that momentum and bringing it into regular trading hours. But at the same time, we also got to be prepared. There could be a gap down, and we could end up testing. Let me just move up the chart. As you can see, the next area that we could be testing could be around here, around 707. Another area could be around the 680s, right? I do not see it going below the 680s, but hey, we just never know what the market is going to give us tomorrow and what the interest is going to be like. Again, I was expecting with the amount of volume that we actually had today. As you can see, we had a good amount right here at open, but you could just see here while I was consolidating and trading sideways, the volume really kind of started winding down, right? And you could see a lot of selling started happening because that's where you see this particular spikes and stuff. That's just where a lot of selling was happening. You can see this here, that there is a lot of pressure in regards to, hey, you know what, we wanted to see a move to the upside, because if we would have broke 11.19 or even at $11 area, we know the next area here would be 11.43, and if we would have passed 11.43, let's go further back, right? We could have literally got to start testing 12 easily, testing 12. No doubt in my mind about that. So we're gonna have to look and see what happens tomorrow. And those are the scenarios that I've given you, whether we gap up or we gap down. So as you can see, there's a lot of things going on with these two stocks. One of the things that we definitely need to be aware of, and I thought it was very interesting, like today, Citron Research was saying that, hey, GME should end up buying or acquiring Gamble, right? So GMBL to be exact, I think it's Esports Entertainment, and that literally got that stock actually moving up as well. In regards to that actually happening, I think it would actually be a cool move for GameStop to actually do that. I know when there was a reply to that and so forth, they said, yeah, they have spoken to them, but there have not been any talks in regards to an acquisition. But I feel like, you know what, that wouldn't be a bad idea for GME to maybe just take another look at it. Also want to put in a disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor and this isn't financial advice. So when you do invest, just know you're doing it at your own risk. In regards to AMC, we already know there's already things going on in regards to movie theaters being opened up and the economy going back to normal and so forth. So we got to be aware of that, what AMC's actual price is. And we've seen the movement in it before everything started happening with GME and it being the sympathy play. So please keep that in mind and look at what that price was at that particular time if you are thinking about actually having an entry, all right? You don't need to be going in high if you don't have to. We don't do that here. Talk to you guys soon.